What if one fleeting act of kindness toward Elon Musk led an ordinary waitress to a gift that would transform her dreams and her life forever? At the Golden Brew Cafe in Silicon Valley, Sophia, a kind and hardworking waitress, unknowingly set her life on a remarkable path. Her small act of compassion toward a stranger triggered events she could never have imagined. From quiet moments to life-altering surprises, this is a story about kindness, ambition, and how dreams can take flight in the most extraordinary ways. Before we dive into this story, don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell to stay updated with our latest stories. Now, let's get started. Sophia moved gracefully through the Golden Brew Cafe, her warm smile lighting up the bustling atmosphere. The rich scent of coffee mingled with the hum of conversations, creating a cozy backdrop to the afternoon rush. She was focused on delivering a tray of cappuccinos to a lively group of tech workers when her eyes landed on something unusual. Near the sunlit window, a man sat alone. His black cap was pulled low, obscuring most of his face. He looked out of place, not because of his quiet demeanor, but because of the way he seemed detached from the lively energy around him. His fingers idly circled the rim of his untouched coffee cup as he gazed at the table in silence. At a nearby table, a group of young professionals erupted in laughter. Sophia couldn't help but overhear their remarks, each louder and more pointed than the last. "Bet he's composing a tragic love poem," one sneered, his voice dripping with mockery. "Or waiting for his secret spy orders to arrive," another added, prompting exaggerated giggles. Their laughter grew sharper. "Maybe he's undercover. Agent Grandpa, reporting for duty," one of them jeered, gesturing toward the man's simple attire. Sophia clenched her jaw. She had heard enough. It wasn't just the words. They carried a mean-spirited edge that cut through the otherwise welcoming atmosphere of the cafe. The man at the table remained still, his expression unreadable. If he heard them, he gave no sign. Yet his silence only seemed to embolden the group, who now openly glanced at him as they whispered and laughed. Sophia hesitated. Speaking up wasn't her usual style. She preferred to avoid conflict. But something about this felt different. The injustice of it stirred something inside her. Taking a deep breath, she set her tray aside and walked toward the group. "Excuse me," she said, her voice calm but firm, cutting through their chatter. "Is that how you treat people you don't even know?" The laughter stopped instantly. The group turned to her, their smirks faltering as her words sank in. "You're in a cafe, not a comedy club," she continued, her tone unwavering. "If you have nothing kind to say, maybe it's time to leave." Embarrassment flushed their faces. After a few awkward moments, the group mumbled a few words of apology and shuffled out, leaving their half-finished drinks behind. Sophia let out a small sigh of relief, her heart pounding from the confrontation. She hadn't planned to make a scene, but she couldn't ignore the way they had treated the man. Turning to the lone figure at the window, Sophia approached him cautiously. "Hi there," she said, her voice softer now. "I just wanted to check, are you okay? Can I get you anything else?" The man looked up slowly. Their eyes met, and Sophia froze. His face was familiar, far too familiar. This wasn't just a random stranger at her cafe. It was Elon Musk. The realization sent a jolt through her, but she quickly composed herself. "Let me know if you need anything," she added warmly, stepping back to give him space. As Sophia returned to her duties, she couldn't shake the feeling that this small moment had been more significant than she realized. Little did she know, her kindness had already left an impression on the man who quietly observed her from the corner. As Sophia stepped back, she took a closer look at the man's face. The sharp features, the unmistakable intensity in his eyes, it all clicked at once. Her heart skipped a beat as she realized, this was Elon Musk, the visionary behind Tesla and SpaceX. Shock coursed through her, but she steadied herself, determined to remain professional. Sophia returned to the counter, her mind racing with the revelation. She couldn't stop glancing at the table near the window, where Elon Musk quietly sipped his coffee, seemingly unaware of the ripple his presence caused within her. As the cafe buzzed around her, Sophia took a moment to gather her composure. Minutes later, Elon called her over with a small wave. Sophia hesitated, her nerves suddenly sharper, but she forced a steady smile and approached his table. "Thank you for what you did earlier," he said, his voice calm but genuinely appreciative. "Not many people would step in like that." Sophia felt a blush rise to her cheeks. "It was nothing, really," she replied. I couldn't stand by and let them treat someone that way." Elon nodded, his expression thoughtful. "Sometimes, the smallest acts of courage leave the biggest impressions." Encouraged by his words, Sophia felt her initial nervousness melt away. Their conversation shifted naturally, moving from the earlier incident to lighter topics. Elon asked her how long she had been working at the cafe, and Sophia shared snippets of her story, how she had moved to Silicon Valley with dreams of opening her own bakery, but had been stuck balancing multiple jobs to make ends meet. "I've always loved baking," she admitted, a spark of passion lighting up her face. "But it feels like such an impossible dream. There's so much competition here, and honestly, I'm scared of failing." Elon leaned forward, his gaze steady and encouraging. "Every great achievement starts with fear," he said. "The trick is to let the fear drive you, not stop you. Silicon Valley is built on risks. Failure is just part of the process." Sophia listened intently, his words resonating deeply. For the first time in years, she felt a glimmer of hope, as if the dream she had tucked away might still be within reach. As she served him a refill of coffee, Elon's demeanor softened further. "You know," he began, "kindness isn't as common as it should be. What you did earlier wasn't just brave, it was inspiring." Sophia smiled, feeling the sincerity behind his words. "I think we all have the ability to make someone's day a little better," she said simply. Before leaving, Elon placed a business card and a generous tip on the table. "If you ever decide to take the leap with your bakery, reach out," he said, a small smile playing on his lips. "I'd be happy to help." Sophia stared at the card in disbelief as he walked out the door. The cafe seemed to buzz louder as her coworkers rushed over, bombarding her with questions. But Sophia barely registered their excitement. Her mind was spinning with the possibilities Elon's words had unlocked. Unbeknownst to her, this chance encounter was only the beginning. That evening, as Sophia sat at her small kitchen table, the business card Elon Musk had left lay before her. She stared at it, the name gleaming in bold letters as if daring her to believe in the impossible. The events of the day replayed in her mind like a whirlwind, her act of kindness, the moment she recognized him, and his encouraging words. Sophia had always dreamed of more than her job at Golden Brew, but life in Silicon Valley was unforgiving. Rent bills piled high, and her dream of opening a bakery had always seemed just out of reach. Yet now, for the first time in years, she felt something stir inside her, hope. Elon's words echoed in her mind. "Every great achievement starts with fear." It was such a simple truth, but one she had been too scared to confront. She thought about the risks she had avoided, the opportunities she had let slip by because she was afraid of failing. Her gaze drifted to her notebook, the one she kept hidden under a stack of magazines. Inside were pages of scribbled recipes, sketches of bakery layouts, and ideas for pastries she had wanted to perfect. They were remnants of a dream she had quietly nurtured but never dared to pursue. As the hours passed, Sophia found herself picking up the notebook and flipping through its pages. Each recipe, each doodle, felt like a small piece of the vision she had buried beneath layers of doubt. By the time the night deepened, Sophia felt a quiet determination settle over her. Maybe she wasn't ready to take the leap just yet, but the seed of ambition had been replanted. And for the first time in years, she allowed herself to dream again. The next morning, Sophia woke with a clarity she hadn't felt in years. The doubts that had lingered in her mind for so long seemed smaller now, eclipsed by the possibility of something greater. As sunlight streamed through her apartment window, she opened her notebook again, this time with purpose. Each recipe she reread brought memories of late nights experimenting in her tiny kitchen, imagining the joy her pastries could bring to others. These weren't just idle ideas. They were pieces of a future she had once dared to dream of but had buried under fear and practicality. Elon's words came rushing back to her. Let fear drive you, not stop you. She realized that for too long, she had let fear paralyze her. What if she stopped waiting for the perfect moment and started creating it instead? She began jotting down new ideas with a determination that surprised even herself. A name for the bakery, a list of potential locations, and a sketch of what her storefront might look like. By the time the morning passed, her small kitchen was filled with the aroma of freshly baked pastries. She had decided to test a new recipe, a flaky, golden croissant that had been sitting unfinished in her notes for months. The buttery layers, warm and crisp, felt like a small triumph, a symbol of the first step towards something bigger. Sophia knew the path ahead wouldn't be easy, but for the first time, she wasn't intimidated. Instead, she was ready to take the first leap. The next morning, Sophia stepped outside her apartment and froze in disbelief. Parked directly in front of her building was a gleaming, futuristic Cybertruck. Its angular design reflected the morning sunlight, making it impossible to miss. As she approached cautiously, the driver's window rolled down, revealing Elon Musk behind the wheel, his familiar grin unmistakable. Sophia approached the Cybertruck, her heart racing with both excitement and disbelief. As Elon stepped out, his casual demeanor contrasted with the enormity of the moment. "Good morning," he said with an easy grin. "Thought I'd give you a lift to work today." Sophia blinked, still processing what was happening. This is incredible," she stammered, running her hand lightly over the vehicle's sleek surface. "But why?" Elon chuckled. "Let's just say I appreciate people who aren't afraid to stand up for what's right, and who know how to make a mean cup of coffee." As they climbed into the Cybertruck, Sophia marveled at its futuristic interior. The conversation quickly shifted to her bakery dreams. She shared her plans, her recipes, and her hopes for the future, feeling more at ease as Elon listened intently. When they arrived at Golden Brew, she turned to him, a hint of nervousness in her voice. "Thank you for this. But how will I get home?" Elon smiled, mischief gleaming in his eyes. "You won't have to worry about that. The Cybertruck is yours." For a moment, Sophia could only stare, her breath catching in her throat. Gratitude and disbelief mingled as tears welled in her eyes. "I don't even know what to say, thank you." Elon nodded, his smile warm. "Just promise me you'll use it to chase those dreams." As Sophia parked the gleaming Cybertruck outside Golden Brew, it immediately became the talk of the cafe. Customers and coworkers alike marveled at the futuristic vehicle, their curiosity adding a spark of excitement to the morning buzz. Though Sophia downplayed the details of how she had received it, the story of her encounter with Elon Musk quietly spread, igniting admiration and inspiration among those around her. Her coworkers, already close-knit, rallied behind her newfound determination to pursue her dreams. On breaks, they brainstormed ideas for her bakery, offering advice and sharing contacts they thought might help. One regular customer, a small business owner herself, overheard Sophia talking about her plans and approached her with an offer of mentorship. "If you need help navigating the permits and paperwork," the woman said with a warm smile, "just let me know. I've been through it all, and I'd be happy to guide you." Even the cafe's manager chimed in with support. "You've got the work ethic to make this happen," he said one evening, handing her an extra box of leftover pastries. "Take these home, test out your recipes on them." With every gesture of support, Sophia's confidence grew. The idea of opening her bakery no longer felt like an impossible dream but a shared vision fueled by the encouragement of those around her. With the support of her coworkers and customers still fresh in her mind, Sophia took her first real step toward making her bakery a reality. She began with a vision board on her kitchen table, pinning up ideas for recipes, possible names for her bakery, and sketches of cozy storefronts she could one day call her own. Her evenings were consumed by research. Sophia dove into articles about small business permits, funding options, and marketing strategies. She reached out to a local entrepreneurship center, where a mentor guided her in drafting a business plan. Together, they worked on everything from defining her brand identity to estimating startup costs and selecting a location that matched her vision. Meanwhile, her apartment transformed into a bustling test kitchen. Sophia poured her heart into crafting pastries that would one day define her bakery: flaky croissants, buttery cinnamon rolls, and her signature chocolate lava cakes. The Cybertruck quickly became her mobile bakery, as she packed her creations into elegant boxes and delivered them to coworkers, friends, and even regulars at Golden Brew. The feedback was overwhelming. "Your croissants are heavenly!" one customer exclaimed, while another raved. "This chocolate lava cake could rival anything I've had in Paris." These words of encouragement fueled her drive to refine her recipes further, ensuring every bite was perfect. One evening, as she jotted notes on customer feedback, Sophia's phone buzzed with an email notification. It was from Elon Musk. He had replied to her update, thanking her for sharing her progress and offering more advice. "Focus on storytelling," he wrote. "Your journey inspires people. Make your bakery more than a place for pastries. Make it a hub for connection." Elon's words reignited Sophia's resolve. She began experimenting with ways to weave her story into her business model. She brainstormed ideas for hosting community events at her future bakery and envisioned how she could use social media to share her journey, posting photos of her pastries, updates on her progress, and personal anecdotes about her path to entrepreneurship. Her growing confidence emboldened her to take bigger steps. Sophia started reaching out to local suppliers, negotiating partnerships for fresh ingredients. She toured commercial kitchens where she could scale her production and met with a potential investor who had heard about her story through Golden Brew. Though exhaustion sometimes crept in, Sophia felt alive in a way she hadn't in years. Each small victory, the successful negotiation with a supplier, a perfected recipe, or a word of encouragement, built her momentum. What once seemed like an impossible dream now felt within reach. Her bakery was no longer just an idea. It was becoming a reality, shaped by her unwavering passion and the collective support of those who believed in her. The grand opening of Sophia's bakery, Golden Crust, was nothing short of magical. Customers streamed through the doors, drawn by the aroma of freshly baked pastries and the warm, inviting atmosphere she had dreamed of for so long. As Sophia watched her vision come to life, she smiled, knowing this was just the beginning. Let Sophia's story remind you that kindness and determination can spark extraordinary change. Don't forget to subscribe for more uplifting tales that inspire and transform lives.